Yo, what's going down, Green Screen fans? It's your homie Jay Green back after a long hiatus, a lot of family, a lot of work changes, a lot of relocating, things of that nature. But I'm gonna try to start getting back to these movie reviews because I really miss talking about films, sharing my thoughts with all y'all out there. So, with all that being said, I might not be as consistent as I once was, but I'm gonna do what I can to give you the movies that I've definitely been looking forward to, and Drop is one of them. Now, this movie stars Megan Fahey and Brandon Skellner, and it was directed by Christopher Landon. This guy brought us movies like Freaky, Happy Death Day 2, Paranormal Activities, the marked ones, and the recent Heart Eyes, which I haven't seen yet, but I heard is pretty good. Now, straight off the top, without giving too many spoilers away, even though if you saw the trailer, you pretty much know how the movie goes. This woman, she's probably been in some bad relationships. She's got a little guy at home. She got the babysitter going on. She was hitting them dating sites, and now she's about to go out to a beautiful night out on the town with a handsome fellow. Now, they're going to this dope restaurant, skyscraper status, big bay windows, you can see the whole city, all of that jazz. Now, as soon as she gets there, she's getting a survey of the land, but she starts getting these drops. Now, I didn't know if drop meant what we saw in the trailers where it looks like she's about to get dropped out the window or something different like that. You know, in the trailers, it wants her to poison this guy's drink. They give that away, so I'm not spoiling anything. So I didn't know if it meant drop in that sense, but Drop apparently is like an app. I don't know if it's real or if it's just for the movie, but it's basically an app that allows you to kind of drop messages to random people wherever you're at least within a 50-yard radius. So she starts getting these drops, and these drops are kind of like toying and playing a little bit with her emotions, acting like they know her. And then eventually, around the beginning to the middle of her date, it basically says, look, chick, I'm gonna need you to kill your date or else you're gonna have some real trouble on your hands. She like, what you talking about, real trouble on my hands? And then they say, check your security footage at the crib spot. So she gets on that ring, she sees that there's somebody up in the house, and now her babysitter and her son are being threatened. So she's like, damn, I might actually have to do this shit. And one thing that I love about movies like this that are kind of locked down to one location, this movie basically spends its entire time in the restaurant, is if you can make whatever's jumping off in that restaurant interesting or entertaining, and if you can lead us in directions that we think are valid and then kind of shatter those assumptions. And I think that the directing from Christopher Landon and the story writing did just that. This movie gives us characters in the restaurant that we're kind of interested in, but suspecting at the same time. And then it gives us just funny moments and random situations that we might encounter on a first date. So you get a little bit of that first date awkwardness that we can all relate to. You get some of that mystery, wondering, is it this guy? Is it that girl? What would the reason be that they have to be playing with her in this way? And also, you're kind of scratching your head because in the back of your mind, you're like, well, wait, even if someone was kind of playing a prank on her, this is obviously real serious. There's someone at the house with a gun and a knife threatening her family, if you will. So what's it got to do with this dude that she's on the date with? And I think that this movie lays those puzzle pieces out and those breadcrumbs in a very interesting, creative, and entertaining way. So I was pretty much on the edge of my seat for the most part of the movie as it was giving me this mystery that in the back of my mind, I'm kind of trying to figure out. So with the breadcrumbs that this movie gave me, leading me in certain directions, misleading me at times, with the characters that this movie gave me that are surrounding this particular date, and with the aspect of the awkwardness of a first date, not to mention a first date where you're getting these random messages saying you're gonna have to kill homie, I thought this movie did a great job tying all of those things together. Now, I will say that in the third act, this movie lost me just a fraction. And the only reason why was because as I was on the edge of my seat for the entire film, they gave us a waiter for the couple that is the comedic relief, if you will. It's like his first day or whatever like that. He's messing up on a lot of things, super silly. The audience that I saw it with was definitely getting a kick out of him, as was I. But because he was the comic relief, towards the end, when we kind of find out who's really behind all this, that character is somewhat similar to the waiter in that he's very jovial, right? He's got a lot of quips and remarks like this. He's fast talking. And I'm like, I don't feel like I needed two characters that are polar opposites. One, a simple waiter. The other, this person that's threatening our heroine, if you will. Yeah. Threatening our heroine, if you will. I don't need both of them to be jokey. Personally, I might have rather had him be a bit more sinister because the movie had its ebbs and flows of serious, terrifying, suspense, mystery, and comic relief throughout. Now, let me get to the meat and potatoes of the threat at hand. Remember, think about what this person is asking her to do. Let it be serious. That's just me. But it didn't take me out of the movie completely. That's just my thoughts and feelings on it, okay? Now, I will say this. Temper your excitement for a huge action set piece at the end. While the trailer does make it look like it's going to end in a crazy big hurrah, there is action, but this is not Old Guard, John Wick, or some Charlize Theron film where this girl's really kicking ass and taking names. She's putting hands on people for sure. She's doing what she does for sure, but it's very simple. I will say that in the scope of the film, based on her backstory, which we kind of get sprinkled throughout from the beginning to the end, the action hits for her as a character, and I definitely enjoyed that aspect of it. So even while I was like, man, you know, from my perspective, this action looks kind of cheesy, you dig? I wasn't mad at it because of what it meant for the character that I've been watching and following throughout the entire film. And I leaned over to my wife at the end and I was like, yeah, the action was kind of cheesy, but it made perfect sense for what she was going through. And I'll tell you like this, without telling you everything, that I feel like a certain movie that came out recently, what was it? It Ends With Us. This is kind of like what It Ends With Us, I feel, wanted to say and wanted to be, in my personal opinion. I understand what that movie was trying to do, but personally, I felt like it fell flat on its face. Whereas with what she's dealing with in this movie, at least in her backstory, and then going through life until this moment in time, I feel like it gave us that It Ends With Us type swag, mystery, whodunit type situation. She's going to save the day. She the hero. Nice conclusion. All in all, I'm going to say that this movie was pretty good. I had a good time with it. I do think it is worthy of a trip to the theater, only because this is the type of film that you don't really want to be distracted at home while you're watching. You want to really be in it so you can follow all the different characters and all the different misdirection that the movie is giving you. However, I know I'm getting this review to you late, so you're probably thinking, shoot, this upcoming weekend, what am I finna watch? It's either gonna be Drop or Sinners. Now, based on everything I've heard about Sinners thus far, and everything that I've watched from Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, it's not even a question. You're gonna go watch Sinners before you see this. So I will say, if you miss out on this past weekend or this upcoming week before you go check out Sinners and you can only see one, catch this on streaming. My review for Sinners will be coming to you next week. You dig? Yo, your homie, Jay Green, I'm out.